Joe Flacco entering MetLife Stadium for Week 3 action. It is the New York Jets versus the Cincinnati Bengals. We are out here in the tailgate zone. It is a rowdy bunch. There is Nick Mangold and Ralph Macchio. Nick Mangold will enter the Jets Ring of Honor at halftime today. Ralph Macchio, a longtime Jets fan. There's a live look at MetLife Stadium. It is Week 3, the 1-1 New York Jets playing host to the defending AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals, who are 0-2. Eric Allen, Anthony Beck, Quincy Anunwa. Like I just mentioned, we're going to bring up Nick Mangold here in a couple moments. Ralph Macchio is here. We'll go inside the stadium with Ethan Greenberg and Caroline Hendershot. But AB, these New York Jets have a chance to have a winning record after 3 games for the first time since 2015.
Listen, a little momentum, right? Carry a big win. You're in Cincinnati. Cleveland. You get that big victory last week, and those things ride high in the locker room. Sometimes we forget about the other 58 minutes of the game, and all of a sudden you got the juices pumping. But this will be a true test. Not a lot of people probably would think the Bengals are going to be 0-1, 0-2, and potentially 0-3. So you got to be on top of your game today. It's going to be a huge challenge, and the Jets will get the Bengals' best today.
Joe Flacco right there we're watching inside the stadium. 5 touchdown passes so far this season. 103 pass attempts, just 1 interception. He is protecting the football. Quincy, let's talk about the Jets' opponent today, the Cincinnati Bengals. First team in the Super Bowl era to lose their first 2 games as time has expired. A lot of pressure building there.
Yeah, a whole lot of pressure. And I think if you look at the last 2 games, I think the thing that's been kind of keeping them back is the pressure. They've had, they played against the Steelers with T.J. Watt. They played against the Cowboys with Michael Parsons. So I think it'll be important this week to make sure that the Jets bring pressure on Joe Burrow, because he's been a little skittish in the pocket. Make sure that you keep that pressure on him, and we'll see if they're going to have a good game this week.
Okay, fellas, let's get out of the tunnel here on Pregame Central. Quincy, you are a fan of receivers. We know Jamar Chase is special, but I'll tell you what, Jets rookie receiver Garrett Wilson is coming off a special performance.
Yeah, and you hear the audience behind me, right? Like, they love to see this guy, and I love to watch him as well. I mean, you talk about a guy that's super savvy, a guy that goes out there and makes plays. He knows how to run routes. He knows how to be where he needs to be, and that's what you want to see in a young receiver. I mean, you look at the Jets receiving core, you got Elijah Moore, you got Corey Davis, you got Garrett Wilson, and just those guys learning and growing together. I think it's going to be a special group.
Anthony, last week Garrett Wilson became the first Jets rookie ever to have 100 yards receiving in a game and 2 touchdowns. The Jets are coming off in an improbable victory over the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is what I fully expected out of Garrett Wilson this year. The kid's got the it factor, man. That's what it's all about. He is a true wide receiver 1. He's going to be up there with the guys like Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. That's how I see him fitting in, not only to this team, but in this league and in this conference. So, this is going to be another big test for him. He's a problem for the Bengals defense. There's no question about it. So you got to feed him all early. You got to feed him often. The more touches he gets, and you know this, you feed these guys the ball every week, give them some more opportunities. It only boosts the confidence level, and that's how you get those great players to really shine week in and week out.
You are watching Pregame Central presented by Bud Light. Nick Mangold is going to enter into the Jets Ring of Honor officially at halftime today. Ralph Macchio is here. In a moment, we're going to go out to the stadium with Caroline Hendershot and Ethan Greenberg. But first, fans, you can participate in today's show. Here's your chance right now. Vote. The New York Jets will have 4 or more sacks of Joe Burrow.
Oh, I like that.
Vote yes or no. Fans like that. Want a couple blues back there. Yeah. Anthony, what's going on when you look at the Cincinnati Bengals? They've given up 13 sacks in 2 games. Burrow has been hit 20 times. They thought they improved the offensive line in the offseason. They have 4 starters who are brand new.
It's a crime, to be honest with you. I feel bad. Listen, Joe Burrow, I hope it continues in this game for the Jets defense, but you got to be kidding me what we're watching on tape. And this isn't something that you're seeing because they don't have talent. They got a completely revamped offensive line. The problem is assignments. They haven't been assignment sound. They haven't been on the right page. Man, anytime you let Micah Parsons come off the edge and you don't block him, there's problems there. So can they fix it in 3-4 days? They're not having a lot of contact during the week of practice now in the NFL. Can they get that urgency back this week and protect Joe Burrow? I'd say no. I'd say they're probably not going to be able to get that done, but I expected it's got to be improved and it's got to be better, or the Jets are going to feast on them today.
Yeah, Quincy, let's go to the other side of the ball. The Jets, we know, have 4 new starters in the secondary. They're going to be facing Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd. How important is the communication aspect for this group getting on the same page early in the season?
Yeah, I think it'll be extremely important. You look at the last couple of weeks, the Jets have given up some big plays, touchdown plays, right, just from miscommunications. So it's important this week to make sure that they're communicating well, because the Bengals have 3 great receivers on that side that can make plays at any moment. Now, it hasn't been that way for them up until now, but we'll see what happens if the Jets don't make sure that they tighten up that communication.
For more of today's storylines, let's go inside the stadium. Here's Caroline Hendershot, Ethan Greenberg. Good morning.
Good morning, EA. You talked about the offensive line, but another big storyline for today's game is the running backs from both sides of the ball, both very dynamic. Let's start with the Bengals and Joe Mixon.
Yeah, that's a Pro Bowl running back who last year had 2 touchdowns against the Jets in a 34-31 victory for the green and white. Joe Mixon scored on the ground. He scored through the air. And here's the thing. Last year, the Jets did a great job containing Mixon on the ground. 33 total yards, 2.4 average. But he's somebody to be reckoned with, because not only does he lead the league with 46 touches or 56 touches, he has 46 rushes, which also leads the league. That's not a number that I think a lot of people would expect out of Joe Mixon.
Yeah, so he's someone to keep the eye on. But another group, our Jets running backs, is someone to keep the eye on. They were very dynamic last year in the victory, 4-31 over the Bengals. What do you think of this group this game?
Well, it's an improved group from last year. Last year was Michael Carter and Ty Johnson. They combined for 166 receiving yards and a touchdown. Michael Carter had 172 scrimmage yards, and then you add Breece Hall into the mix in the draft. He's a great receiver, not to mention that his first touchdown was a reception last week.
Yep.
So that's something to keep in mind here as the Jets and the Bengals get set to kick off in a little bit.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll have to keep those eyes on the running backs, the offensive line. So there's a lot of moving parts for today's game.
Talked to Carl Lawson during the week. Is he chomping at the bit to get at his former team?
You know, I talked to him during the week, like you said, and he said it's just another game for him. All these games are important, and each one matters. So this is no different just because he's facing his former team.
Yeah, I just want to add one thing, EA, is that C.J. Uzomah, Robert Saleh says he's going to be a game-time decision. This is another guy that we'd be expecting to be chomping at the bit to face his former team. He was a full participant in Friday's practice, so listed as questionable. The inactives come out at 11:30, but that's another guy to keep an eye on.
Carl Lawson's line. He's fired up.
He's live today, Anthony Beck says. We'll check in with you guys later. Good stuff from inside the stadium. You are watching Pregame Central presented by Bud Light. Eric Allen, Anthony Beck, Quincy Anunwa. Now, let's give a warm welcome to a man who is going to enter the Ring of Honor today at halftime. Nick Mangold. How does the green
They do it every year. These guys. Oops. Hello.
It looks good.
You are looking quite sharp.
You clean up real nice, man. I'll tell you.
I just was. Yep. That's me.
How are the nerves today?
That's me.
It's kind of crazy. It's usually 11 guys on the field. So knowing that I have 2 minutes by myself on the field, and they didn't check my speech, I think it could get wild.
So fans, you have to stay in your seats at halftime because Mr. Mangold's going to be addressing you for almost 2 minutes. What's the speech is, what, $1:45 probably?
It's $1:45.
Okay.
But, I'm going to try to slow it down a little bit and take my time. They're not starting the third quarter until I'm done.
What has this meant to you? This honor, you talked about actually getting the news from Ambassador Woody Johnson in the spring, and then it hit you. at the kickoff lunch and you get the green jacket.
Yeah, I think that's so. The surprise, I think, was more so in the spring, finding out the news, and with being with Brick and being with Revis, and then the green jacket at the kickoff luncheon. Like that's when it kind of hit me when Woody put it on my back and I'm standing there and I watched guys walk around with the green jacket and kind of the aura that it has around it, and seeing that the weight of it just kind of hit me. It was like, wow, this is kind of a big deal. And then a reporter just this week was asking, he goes, all right, so what does it feel like to know that your grandchild will be able to come into either MetLife Stadium or wherever and see your name up there? I was like, well, my oldest is 11, so I haven't even thought of grandchildren, but way to blow my mind on that one.
Hey, can you speak to how much it meant for you not only be drafted here in 2006, but play your entire career with one team? I tweeted the other day, quote retweeted you. You are a throwback because when you entered this organization, you said, I'm playing ground and I'm never leaving.
Yeah, and that was kind of a big thing. When I was done with my time here at the Jets and I had an opportunity to go somewhere else, that was a big factor. And the factor that I was like, you know what, I don't want to go somewhere else. I like where I'm at now, and I like what I've done with the Jets, and I want to be known as only a Jet. And so that was important to me.
I love it. We're going to have some fun up here. But Quincy, can you speak to what he meant to you as a teammate?
Yeah. Definitely. I always tell people when I walked into the locker room, one thing you know about Nick is that he would have the robe, the Jets robe, and then he had the gaming system in the cold tub. Like that, he was the OG in the locker room. So it was really dope to just kind of watch you from a distance and really see how you kind of carried yourself through the locker room, because you have fun, but you also really took care of business.
Yeah, I wore that robe this morning. I was walking the dog. My robe on, my green 74, it's a home game, and walked the dog, and it was awesome.
All right, Nick Mangold, the OG up here on Pregame Central, presented by Bud Light. We're going to have some fun.
Yes.
This is my favorite part right now.
Nick Mangold with the trademark beard. So we wanted to put your beard on a couple members of the Jets organization and get your reaction. Let's roll out those photos right now.
Ooh, see, I like that. That's a good look.
We're fighting glare up here.
We are fighting a little glare, but it's not fighting Cubs.
Wow.
See, that's just, I feel like everyone should grow. Yeah, look at that. Let it go.
Does that work?
That works.
To have that guy.
Oh, no. Hey, you gotta let it go.
There's
Elsa style.
Ethan Greenberg.
He looks like an elf.
Interesting
He
look.
looks like an elf.
He does look like an elf.
Okay, so a couple things Nick is involved in post-playing career. Most notably, of course, your 4 kids. With that being said, let's talk about the barbecue sauce that you have up here today.
This is my barbecue sauce, Mangold 74 barbecue sauce. I highly recommend it. It's the best sauce in the world.
Get his barbecue sauce, guys.
But it started with my kids and kind of going with that, and so we put it on everything, and I was excited to have the opportunity to try it on things that you shouldn't really have barbecue sauce on.
Okay, so what do we have up here? Let's stand up here. We got pretzels.
Pretzels is a classic one, right? That's, you got to dip your pretzels in something.
Hey, Q, I'm going to go with the marshmallow.
No, I just got to go with.
Wow.
Should I try it with the bagel?
Not bad. Ooh, bagel. Very nice.
Can we get a bottle for every fan in the stands today? Can we?
Watch out for the Lucky Row.
We have the
hint. Lucky Row.
There you go.
game.
Lucky Row in the house.
Oh, this one's good. Okay, so while we're eating, tell us the significance of the 4 sauces in regards to your 4 kids.
All right, so it started out, I have the OG and the spicy. That is for my 2 sons, the OG being my first son, the spicy being my next son. It's the same thing as the OG, just my second son's a firecracker. And so that's why it's the spicy one. I have 2 more coming out. I have 1 done for my baby. It's going to be a vinegar style. And then I'm working on a honey barbecue sauce for my other daughter. And so it's kind of just a fun way, a passion project that allows me to involve my kids, keeps me passionate. But I'm going to try this marshmallow.
Is this your sandwich that they're selling in the? Is this custom for you?
This is me. So in there, you can go get your own pulled pork, Mangold 74 barbecue
Come on,
sandwich.
man, you gotta try this.
Mangold 74 barbecue sauce Hey, stay in your seats at halftime today.
I'll get it.
Nick
Don't hit the
Mangold, officially inducted into the Ring of Honor.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate
Congrats,
it.
man.
Awesome.
Thank you. Congrats.
Let's hear it for Nick Mangold, everybody. All right.
All right, I'm out.
Ralph Macchio coming up on stage. You are watching Pregame Central, presented by
Good
Bud
bow.
Light.
Good bow.
All the stars are out today.
You got
Week
it.
three.
What's up, man?
Jets, Cincinnati Bengals. Ralph, great seeing you, brother.
Great to be here, man.
What do you think about Nick Mangold entering the Ring of Honor?
I love it. I love it. I'm such a big fan. I did an interview with him last season, and then with him and Sanchez, we had a great time. But he's, you know, when he was in at center, I could relax. When those rare occasions he wasn't, I didn't know what to do with myself. So it's a comfort zone anytime he was out there. Great, you know, and just such a he represented the team so well. He was sort of, you know, kind of the face of the team in a way for me, because it all started there.
What does it mean for you to be back today? You grew up in Huntington, Long Island.
Yeah.
Jets fan your entire life.
Yeah, it's great to be back here today. I mean, I wish we've been shooting this Cobra Kai series down during the fall. Yeah. And so I haven't been to a game in a while, although I was at the game against Pittsburgh last year, which we won, which was a good game. It's great to be here. Great day. Excited, coming off a big win. You know, high hopes. Tall order, but high hopes.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun game today. Anthony Becht has been watching every installment.
Ralph, I'm all over it, man.
Oh, good.
Cobra Kai. Let's break down Cobra
Listen.
Kai.
Me and the wife did speed session on season 5. Get on season 5, Cobra Kai, right? On Friday night, just to prepare for the show, because I had to get on top of it. I've been busy working, but I fit it into my schedule. Season 6, I got a great idea.
Oh, God, here we go.
I'm like your disgruntled cousin from Huntington that comes in town, you know, big guy, trying to find his way. Maybe we could fit.
Yeah, I think
Listen,
we'll recruit you for Miyagi-Do. I need more
Something,
recruits.
man. I mean, you do need more.
Bring it in. It's so much fun. It's so much fun.
It's
Thank you,
pretty
man.
good.
We're really
It's fun,
having a
man. I
great
love
time.
It. It's good stuff.
How much have you enjoyed it? And when they brought the idea to you that, hey, this is a chance that we're going to bring this back decades later, what was your thought?
It was a mixture of emotions. You know, someone coming up to me saying, "Listen, we want to make a show called Cobra Kai." I'm like, wait a second. Wait a second. These guys who write the show are so tuned in. They are the biggest Karate Kid fans, and they write the show that the fans want to see. And it just is a combination of timing. The movie Creed had just come out, and it's sort of like the way in. How do you go back to the Rocky universe, and it seemed new? They had a fresh angle for this, and now it's just grown and evolved. And the actors who come in, the OGs from the original film franchise, and then the kids in the show are great, and it's just so much fun.
Back, man.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Yeah, everybody. They're all back in the show, man.
Quincy, have you checked it out yet?
I haven't yet. So me and my wife said.
No, you probably saw the original Karate Kid, though.
Yeah, so I see the original, and then obviously I saw the one with Will Smith's son as well. So
I love it.
Good
Hey,
stuff.
you also have, we just put that up there with the graphic, you also have your book out. Can you tell us what the book is?
Yeah, the book.
And the genesis of that?
Thank you. The book was, it's called Waxing On, which is the title. It just makes sense. It comes out October 18th. It's available for pre-order now and everything. It's kind of my journey in the shoes of that Karate Kid character for almost 40 years, and now at the relevance of it all. And it's, for the most part, it's a celebration of that journey. I mean, it's very unique to have a role that you played in a movie that meant so much to people. And now I walked over here, and half of the people calling out to me were 13, 14, 12, 16. You know, it's like their favorite show, and then they're backing themselves into the movie. So this book sort of chronicles the ups, the downs, my journey, you know, the things I would have done over, some of the behind the scenes, how some of the iconic moments came to be. So it's, and it's just timing. It seems like it's the right timing. So I'm excited for that.
Hey, Ralph, I got a question for you. So, like, you know, the crane was the big move back in the original. Then you brought it back in the next one, and they kind of, you know, it wasn't a big move. big window now between the last time we saw the crane. Can we get the crane?
Yeah, no, you're not going to.
Is that? I don't want to ruin anything for a season. I'm just saying. I've been doing the crane for 40 years.
You just lost your shot.
Oh man, come on!
No,
oh man.
the crane is a piece of cinema pop culture. I'd have to do it 50,000 times today if I did it today. But I appreciate you asking.
No doubt,
I want to see your crane though. You
Big
sent me
fan.
that.
Oh, I can do it. Yeah, I got it.
Who are you out here with today?
I'm sorry.
Who are you out here with today?
My family, my wife and my kids and my friends. It's just great to be together. It's a communal experience, and let's go get a W. That's all I say.
Ralph Macchio, let's hear it for him. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, guys.
Are you the biggest Jets fan? The Fan of the Year contest presented by Captain Morgan is back, and we're searching for one extraordinary Jet fan. Nominate yourself or others for a chance to be crowned the Jets Fan of the Year and win a trip to Super Bowl 57 in Glendale, Arizona. To nominate yourself, someone else, or learn more, visit NewYorkJets.com/Fan of the Year. It's time for our Sunday Spotlight, and man, we've had a star-studded cast today, Anthony.
I forget the rest of the show. Between the barbecue and karate, I don't know what we got.
Nick Mangold entering the Ring of Honor today. Special day out here. Ralph Macchio back, and he is exchanging pleasantries with everybody out here. Great scene inside the tailgate zone. Quincy, how about we start with you? Sunday Spotlight.
Yeah, let's do it. So for me, I'm sticking with the receivers and the DBs again. You know, last week I talked about Amari Cooper versus Sauce. It was a great matchup. You know, they battled it out all week. Amari Cooper kind of got the edge there. I'm curious to see what happens this week. You know, Sauce stays on the left side, DJ stays on the right side, so they're going to see equally all three of the Bengals receivers. It's going to be a great challenge for them. I want to see them really lock down those guys and make sure that you know they don't have a lot of yards this game.
Yeah, Jamar Chase really used all over the place. Right. Left wide, right wide, and then on the slot on both sides. And the Jets, a lot of times, early downs, first and second down, you're going to see them in zone coverage. Then they can get a little bit more exotic with their pressure packages if you can put Joe Burrow and company in third and long. Anthony, how about you? You're looking at C.J. Mosley, huh?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you know, we got a go-to guy on defense. That's C.J. Mosley. The guy shows up every single week on defense, and he's going to have to show up again today. Joe Mixon's a guy that gets a lot of touches on this team, both in the run game and the pass game. We got to be great tacklers today. We really got to make sure. I got to think, if I'm the Bengals, I got to try to get some type of run game going to take the pressure away from Joe Burrow in that passing attack. So I think you're going to see a little bit of that, and that's going to be a matchup today. We got to linebackers, CJ and the clan, kind of get that together and make those plays. We could be in good shape on the defensive side of the ball.
Mosley will make his 98th start in the National Football League today. He leads the Jets in tackles with 18. Joe Mixon, as Ethan mentioned before, leads the NFL from the running back position with 56 touches. I'm going to go with Jets receiver Elijah Moore. Just a hunch here, but fresh off that explosive effort from Garrett Wilson, I think the Cincinnati Bengals are going to be paying a lot of attention to 17 today, and that means Elijah Moore, who was open a lot against the Cleveland Browns, I think he's going to be quite active. So far through 2 games, Moore, 8 catches, 90 yards. Garrett Wilson, of course, leading the way for the green and white. 12 catches, 154 yards, and the 2 touchdowns. Today, the New York Jets are showing its continued support for Ukraine. Players will wear a special decal on the back of their helmets depicting the flag of Ukraine, and large banners displaying the Ukrainian flag will be featured prominently in both end zones. There will also be a dedicated TV timeout showcasing the Jets' support and philanthropic efforts for Ukraine. The Jets 50-50 raffle will benefit City Serve International, a collaborative network of churches and community leaders who help those in need live better lives. City Serve activated in Europe to help rescue and care for Ukrainian refugees. For more information on the Jets' Ukrainian relief efforts, you can visit NewYorkJets.com, Community Ukraine Relief. All right, let's get to our favorite segment here on All In or Not Today. We'll take a look at the leaderboard right now. I mean, on practice today, excuse me, Pregame Central, we got so many things going in. All In or Not Today, there are the records. I'm in good company because I'm sitting there with the fans, okay? I'm cool with being with the fans. Everybody else 1-1. Let's go back to the stadium right now, and we're going to start with Caroline. Caroline, the Jets will have an interception for a third consecutive game. All in or not today?
Listen, I'm all in because I feel like I have some good mojo going. Won last week, so I'm thinking I'm going to win again. And also, the Jets have gotten those 2 interceptions. Ashton Davis made that nice play at the end of last game. So I think we're on a good track. So I'm going to go all in.
Okay, you have a chance to go 2-1 yourself after 3 games.
I do.
Ethan, let's stay out there at the stadium. Michael Carter and Breece Hall will combine for 125 scrimmage yards against the Bengals.
Yeah, I'm going all in on this one. I mentioned it last year what the Jets running backs were able to do. You add Breece Hall into the mix. Think about what he did last week on the ground, in the air. I am all in as well.
All right, great stuff from inside the stadium. We'll check in with you guys in a minute. Anthony, Jamar Chase will have more receiving yards than Garrett Wilson. All in or not today?
Well, first, it's good to see Ethan back on track with the nail last week, right back in the losers column. That's always good to see. Listen, I'm not today, man. Garrett Wilson's going off. Jamar Chase is not going to catch anything today. Garrett Wilson's going to have a huge day today, right? Not today, baby.
Not today, Anthony Beck says. Watch out for Garrett Wilson, the number 10 overall selection out of Ohio State. Quincy, let's go back to you. Joe Flacco will become the first Jets quarterback to pass for 300 yards in the first 3 weeks of the season. All in or not today?
So today I'm going not today, but not because I don't believe in Joe. I believe in the run game. I think we got to get back to it, man. I think it's important for those guys. Give these guys the ball. You got so many great backs back there. Give them an opportunity. So I say not today. Joe's not throwing that many passes.
Okay, all right. I say watch out for Flacco. He's feeling pretty good. And you don't know. This could be his last start before Zach Wilson potentially takes over next week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll have to see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to go with this one. Nick Mangold, who's going to be inducted to the Jets Ring of Honor, will shed tears during his halftime speech. I'm saying all in. This is an emotional day for Nick Mangold. For the game alone, he's got 120 personal invites, and you know other people are coming here just to see him. I know he's going to get to him.
He's got them big mirrored glasses.
Yeah, he's got the glasses.
It's hard to really tell if he does or not.
Yes.
I'm going to be tough. I'm a stickler with that stuff.
This has been an
awesome. Go back in the tape.
I know.
This has been an awesome Pregame Central presented by Bud Light. Let's take a look at what the fans have said, their opportunity to vote. The Jets will record 4 more sacks of Joe Burrow today. 62% vote yes. Burrow, of course, has been sacked 13 times so far through 2 games. We're going to go to inactives here in 2 minutes, but final thoughts from you, Anthony.
Well, to that point right there, Joe's been sacked 13 times. He had 5 turnovers in the first game, and guess what? They still had a chance to win both games. Right. So don't fall asleep. Even if you do all that, he still gives you the best chance. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. It's a huge challenge today for the defense.
Cool Joes on both sides of the ledger today, Q. How about you? Some final thoughts?
Yeah, I'm following up on that, right? I think the Jets need to really make sure that they're getting that pressure on Joe Burrow, really make him uncomfortable back there. I think if you can get that done, it'll be a lot easier game for them.
Listen, belief is a huge thing. And the Jets have been talking about the confidence they have in each other in the locker room despite being so young and so many new pieces. I'm just wondering how much carryover they can take from last week's game. Totally new opponent. Defending AFC champions. But again, what the Jets showed last week is nothing's out of reach. You keep on pushing. You play for 60 minutes. And that's everything that Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas are trying to instill here, AB.
Well, what it shows you is anything is possible, right? So you're never out of a game. Got to play 4 quarters today. You know, the last 2 minutes of the game is not going to get it done versus the Bengals.
That's right.
You have to do it on all phases, and the Jets are a team. Special teams, defense, offense plays well. They can be successful today in this game.
I'm glad you mentioned special teams because we're looking at Braxton Berrios right now. Jets special teams was amazing last week. In a close game, that's what can put them over the top, Q.
Definitely. And I look forward to seeing what they do this week. You know, they pulled something out of their hat with the 4th down stop. Maybe they can do something again today.
All right, so we'd like to thank everybody out here inside the tailgate zone for attending Pregame Central presented by Bud Light. Plus, stay in your seats for halftime today. Nick Mangold enters the Ring of Honor thanks to Ralph Macchio. Also, Caroline Hendershot, Ethan Greenberg inside the stadium. We're going to close here with an active. Zach Wilson, tight end Lawrence Cager, wide receiver Denzel Mims, cornerback Bryce Hall, and defensive end Bryce Huff. Will the Jets make it 2 in a row? We're about to find out. We will see you later for Jets Overtime.